I know I'm running a little bit late. I'm so sorry. I feel bad, but it's okay. Instead of going through our normal like 10-minute ramp up period where we just talk and we get into it and we're just gonna jump straight. Let's just jump into it, chat room. Oh my gosh, I don't even remember where I was or what I was doing. This world is getting to be mature. It's not at all mature. It's still pretty early on. I've got like 4 things built. Let's take a look. I'm just running in this like plains right now. James Wargle, Repo Dragon, Miss Taco. Thanks for being here at the top of the stream. You guys are freaking-tastic. I love and appreciate you both. You both. There's like 4. Eltrian. There's like 5 of you. But I love both of you so much. I'll leave it up to you guys to determine which 2 I'm referring to. Okay. So what do we need to do today? I feel so bad that I'm late. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why I'm late though. I was meeting up with my future DM to discuss, to roll up my character. That went a little bit long, and I feel bad. That's why I'm late, chat room, is we went out at noon, right? Which is fine, which is like 3 hours ago. We got lunch, that finishes at 1 o'clock. I rolled up the stats for my character. I've never rolled that badly in my life. Like, you're rolling 4D, like 6-sided die, 4D6. My character's stats, like an 18 is a perfect roll, right? 18 is perfect, and rolling like a 3 is the worst, okay? I rolled nothing but like 7s and 8s. 10 is considered average, and I rolled nothing but 7s and 8s. It's such a bad character. He then let me roll one more time for free, and it got worse. And it got worse. So he's like, I can't let you roll a 3rd time. That's too much. That's too much power. That's too much. Nah, I just can't let you do it. And I'm like, that's fair. It's reasonable. And he's like, but what I can let you do is I can let you use a point value system. So you can manually assign your points, but it's gonna be pretty rough. I'm like, yeah, okay. So I had to manually assign all of my points because I had rolled so badly. We don't really need to sell any of those, actually. I want to build our Darkroom mob spawner today. That's what I want to do. I rolled so badly I had to use like the stat allocation. It was just bad. Most DMs would have let you re-roll it. He let me roll twice. So my first roll, which was bad. My second roll, which was even worse. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. First roll, which was bad. Second roll, which was worse. And he's like, yo, you can't, this is just an unplayable character. I'll let you either choose a like manual stat assignment, or you just have to retire the character. I'm like, well, I have another character that is kind of ready. Not nearly as ready as this one, but he's at least there. And he's like, well, you've got a choice. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll try out the stat assignment. So that's what I'm doing. Was it your first game? It wasn't a game. We were just rolling up the character. That's all it was. And I rolled very poorly. How goes the world of Nims? Been a while? We're late to the stream because I was killing my character before we even started the first session. I know I'm gonna need like a ton of those. Now we're gonna need a number of those. Okay, we're gonna need a bunch of comparators and repeaters, so we should start working on that. So we need cobblestone. Let's go ahead and get that into furnaces. Eltrian donated 10 freaking dollars.
Look at the size of that thing.
Just no message, just out of freaking nowhere. Dude, thank you so much for that makes the pain of my character a little better. Can I tell you what his starting stats were? Oh, you know, the DM was supposed to send it to me, but I don't think he did. It was like multiple 8s, it was just bad. It was just bad. So Eltrian, thank you so much. Can't really stay because it's late for me, but I just wanted to pop in and say hi. Miss Taco, before you go, can I ask where you're from? She might already be gone, but I'm curious where she's from that it's late for her. So, do we still not have the iron farm though? No. But we don't need to. Not yet. And I would like to have ender pearls before we start the iron farm. Yeah. You know what else we're gonna need? Let me pull up my thing. Nims Mob Farm. Pull up my own video so that way I can look at the blocks I need. A bunch of solid blocks, a bunch of sticky pistons, a bunch of solid blocks, a bunch of slabs, a bunch of obsidian, a bunch of redstone dust, which we definitely have that. 40 magma blocks. Oof. That's more slime. How do you make a magma block, chat room? Magma block Minecraft. And it takes 4 magma cream, and that's just 1 slime ball plus 1 blaze powder. So it's 4 slime balls, 4 blaze powder per magma cream. How many blaze powder do you get from a rod? 2. So we need, so then it's 2 blaze rods per block. And 2 blaze rods per block, and we need 40 blocks. That means we need 80 blaze rods. Or just to go mine the magma blocks. Either way, I think we actually do need to take a trip into the nether, because I don't think we're gonna have enough, where is it? Oh, actually we do have enough quartz. That's near about 80. Either way, I think we need to go back into the nether. And we just need to get a bunch of magma blocks is what it's looking like. And maybe a little bit more quartz. So let me pull out a chest here. That's gonna be in wood. We're just gonna put our building blocks in this. Things that we know that we're gonna need for this build. I'm guessing UK, that would make sense. I'm making my own tabletop RPG, and I'm completely eliminating rolled stats. I don't like the stark disparities between characters. It makes sense because, you know, my character rolled very, very poorly. I'm joining a campaign that's level 8, which means that they would already have a level 20 in their primary stat. All of them have 20s, except for me. My character will enter with a, let me look. My character will enter with an 18. Which is huge, and I'm sure that, like, Eyebrows, you understand. I'm missing 1 whole point of ability modifier, and my character is going to be a warlock with agonizing blast, which means I'm missing 1 point of damage from every blast I do. That's a lot. That's like 10 to 20 damage by the end of a combat that I just missed out on because, yeah, we'll be in, yeah. That's like 20 damage that I'm just missing because I rolled so poorly. So, I don't know. I just don't know. I'm having second thoughts. TBH. We know we're gonna need a bunch of redstone. We know that we're gonna need comparator and a repeater and, let's see, some torches. Magma blocks, slime blocks. Yeah, we've got the slime blocks if we don't need to convert magma over. We'll need to make some sticky pistons as well. How many sticky pistons? 36 redstone dust, torch, glowstone, repeaters, decorative blocks, blocks of redstone, magma blocks, slime, hopper minecart, bunch of rails, 7 sticky pistons. Okay, so we could do that. All of those. And we'll just put that in there, actually. Okay. And let's go get us some quartz and magma blocks from the nether. Sometimes a poorly rolled character can make an interesting RP, but it's not fun if it's like one of the games you are learning on. Like, I have an 8 in my strength and an 8 in my intelligence, because that's the lowest stat that you can do for, whatchamacallit, whenever you do assigned stats. So, I mean, I would be okay with that if I had like a 17 or an 18 to start out my character. But yo, we just do not have. By the way, I got my pickaxe repaired up. Obviously. It wouldn't be that big of a deal to have like a 17 or an 18 if we're looking for magma blocks. Excuse me, it wouldn't be that big of a deal to have like a 7 or an 8 in strength. It'd be interesting, like you said, like my character is weak. Like physically their strength is low. But that could be interesting because he's so proficient in spellcasting, right? That was a bit spooky. Yeah, we don't want to destroy that. But, like, I didn't get the offset. I didn't get the good stats to offset the bad stats. I just got nothing but bad stats. Well, I mean, there's all the magma blocks we need. Done. That was actually way easier than I expected. I mean, do we keep going just because we've got it? I'll see why not. Point buy? Yeah, that's what I did. I did point buy. Yep. The only kind of upside is the DM seems very agreeable to like every idea. No, all of my blocks. To every idea I had for my character. So like, you know, he's actually going to be a bard block, which is already kind of considered to be like I don't want to call it a busted character, but it's a strong character. And I'm like, yes, I would like to do that. Because bards typically lack, like, all combat capabilities. They're just usually, like, crowd control and backup healer. They're not even primary healer, they're backup healing. So it's usually just utility for bard. Well, picking up the warlock as a multi-class allows it to actually do damage. First time using the new emotes. Don't they look so good? Oh my god. RIP even more magma blocks. Okay, we're just not gonna touch anything on this wall. We're not going that way. And if Netherite goes live in its current iteration, get very used to this, because this is going to be what everyone does to get Netherite. Just an efficiency 5 axe into the Nether.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, the music even agrees. If you use them like that, you gotta get a kind of heart. Oh, it does make a little bit of a heart. Look at that, that's cute. 3.5 has items for permanent stat boost, but they're like hyper late game wondrous items. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, the DM seems pretty open to everything. Like, with backstory and with being a bard, I should have a pretty good, like, I could have, my character just has a career as being a bard. He wouldn't even need to be a murder hobo. Murder hobo being kind of like the colloquially term, the shorthand. Whenever you have a D&D campaign, a lot of the times it'll just turn into homeless people. Like, your characters don't have a home, and they just walk around taking on quests and murdering things. Murder hobos, right? Well, my character would actually be able to be a bard in this universe, and he would be a proficient. He has a bunch of connections. He knows most of the nobles. His name is relatively well known in this area inside of the lore. You know, I being able to make a decent chunk of change on the side. Is that a pigment dipped in lava? Yes, it was. He was just going for a swim. What was he? Like right here? Oh, it looks like he got out. He was right there. I don't know where he went. Yeah, but he was right there. I saw it. It happened. Yeah, the DM has no problem playing like a bard lock, and like I'm going College of Lore bard lock, so I'm just a skill monkey. If our party needs anything done, like I'll be good at everything no matter what it is. And this is my fortune pick, so. Can we get up there to go fight him? As long as it's not arm wrestling. That's true. My strength is going to be basically 0. Grappling? Nope. Oh, is that just experience, or did we see an item? Oh, there's a ghast here. We got it. Yeah, no, I'll be absolute garbage at anything strength related, or this is not the way we came from, is it? This is, but apparently it joined up with a natural cave system, so. I need to make some connections so I can have more playtesters for my tabletop RPG. Yo, if you want to DM, we can start like a supporter D&D channel if you would like to DM, and you could test it there. I'm sure the majority of people that you're using air quotes here, playtesting for, would not mind. As long as they had some sort of story or character that they would be able to play with and feel like is theirs. Repo Dragon redeemed Hydrate. Cheers, bud. Okay, we've got the magma blocks. We've got a ton more nether quartz. I mean, I think we're fine. I don't think I need to be doing anything else here in the nether. Oi, Nims, you steal us with that Hydrate 2K thing. Are you saying that it needs to go back down to 1,000? But it was just getting spammed too much at 1,000. I feel like it's actually getting like the appropriate amount of use. Tell me it's not 5 hydrates each stream. There's no cap anymore. It's just 2,000. Which it's like 400 points an hour. So it's basically every person would be able to redeem a hydrate once a stream.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Confidence surges! Space Lamp 6, 21 months. Hey, we can drink now. We can have an Alki stream. What is this? I'm supposed to hit thank? Oh. Apparently I got some love hearts. Okay. Let's go ahead and, we haven't been doing this super well. Where, do I have any? Oh god, we already had some magma blocks. It's fine. Okay, well, we needed a lot of magma blocks because we knew that we were going to be using a ton of them in the slime farm build. Yeah, we need like 40. I'm out of inventory space. How is this going? Okay, we can start crafting with you. I need redstone torches. We need redstone dust. We need a lot more torches. Yeah, that's fine. All of that uses up all of my torches. I don't know, let's take this down just a little bit. And then that's still not very many repeaters. Only 3? We ran out of torches. So ridiculous how much you end up using for, how many torches you end up using for redstoning. How's your week been so far, Nims? I mean, pretty good, pretty good. We're still riding off that high of winning the Super Bowl. Kansas City is still lit up in Chiefs colors. I rolled the first character that I've gotten to play in D&D today, and it rolled absolutely terribly. It was like the worst character I've ever rolled in my entire life. Did we really use all the sticks? That's literally just got everything on it. And it's all like good things too. Power 4, Unbreaking 3, Respiration, Thorns, Fortune. We'll leave that for future NIMS to worry about. I also like saving bowls because you can use them as a fuel source, which we'll need to do until we get well, there's the name tag that we were looking for, which we'll need to use them as a fuel source until we get the tree farm set up, which is still probably like mini streams away. Do you have an item sorter for your fish farm? No, but I should. Okay, so Space Lamb 6 is now he's now being added to the wolf pack. Space Lamb, oh, that's caps lock. Space Lamb 6. Blah blam. Welcome to the wolf pack, my dude. Thank you for your support. Blah blam. We save your points, so we hydrate raid as a raid. And Metal Sand, I'm sorry, man. What do you want from me? Okay, we need just more repeaters. Actually, I know what you want. You want it to be cheaper. We just can't do that, though. Okay, what are we missing now? Stone we've got. It's torches again. Okay, torches, redstone, smooth stone. I need more smooth stone, so we'll go ahead and get that started. Oh, torches, forever the issue. I'm looking for spruce. Do we use all of our spruce? Let's go cut down a tree. Thank you for the great streams and well, thank you for the kind words. Add a shots thing for 1K. Oh my god. Dude, I would die of alcohol poisoning so quickly. Normally we do like $1 a drink or something like that, or like, I don't know, $5 a drink or something. I don't know. Do I get one too? Did you sub recently? You did 5 days ago. Yeah, I should. I missed it, dude. I haven't been very good with those renames. Yes, but you can join the wolf pack as well. Provided you don't already have a wolf. One wolf per person, please. Okay. That should give us all the sticks we need. I'm gonna leave that there for just a moment until we get our saplings done. And I'm just going hard on these sticks, man. It'd be 16. Huh? Yeah, like I said, just going hard. Repeaters. We made 6 more! That's smooth stone, that's the issue. So let's go ahead and get even more smooth stone crafting up. Steal some of this charcoal. We are at like max capacity here. Am I still the donkey of the wolf pack? Indeed you are. Donkey's over there somewhere. He's just chilling. We don't need to use him very much anymore because we haven't had to, I mean, change location at all. Okay, so we're just smooth stone, smooth stone, smooth stone, smooth stone. Cool. And we're just going repeaters and comparators. So what are we missing? Redstone and smooth stone. fast here. There's our other one. It's like 5 normally, yeah. Okay, let's go get a name tag and get Azkaban set up. Will hydrate function as a drink for the drunk stream? We might change it to like, I don't know, like eat a cracker or something like that so I don't die. We need, not that, but this. Yeah. Metal Sandman 98, I saw it. You still owe me a pufferfish? Dude, that's fair. You were not here the time that we went to the ocean, so you missed your opportunity. Beautiful. Welcome to the wolf pack, and I'm sorry that I missed you. Okay, we've got like Space Lamp, Azkaban, there's X Kelly, there's Lilycat, there's Repo Dragon, there's Nico, there's Eltrian. These wolves don't have names. And currently these wolves are like our backup wolves in case the wolves inside the skeleton grinder die. That's what they're for. You know, I recognize that quartz is almost exclusively like a redstone thing, but it really feels more like an ore in this sense. Because it doesn't do anything until it's crafted. Okay, either way. How many comparators do we need? A ton of solid blocks, redstone dust, torch, glowstone, repeaters, blocks of redstone, magma blocks, slime blocks, glass, hopper minecart, bunch of rails. We actually didn't need comparators for this build. Okay, well, I'm largely okay with this. Let me just double check. Solid block, sticky piston, solid block, slab, obsidian, redstone dust, redstone torch, glowstone, repeaters, solid blocks, blocks of redstone, magma blocks, slime blocks, glass blocks, hopper minecart, rails. Yeah, no comparator in that list. It's not a problem. Oh, did we really already have some solid? It was only a stack. Okay, so I know that we've got the glass somewhere in here. Yeah, there's the glass. Do you think jack-o'-lanterns would function the same as the glowstone? So this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at my own video here. Yep, this is what I expect. Yep. Still about what I expect. Okay, that's what the glass is used for. Okay, that's a very important screenshot. And there's what the glowstone is used for. Okay, so we could easily do jack-o'-lanterns. It's not relevant that they can't be... It's not relevant that they can stick to sticky pistons. So jack-o'-lanterns are fine. So we're gonna go get some jack-o'-lanterns. Remind you Greek? Wait, what am I supposed to... Keep it as hydrate. Staying hydrated while drinking is important. See, that's what I was kind of thinking at the same time. I came in here for what reason? I don't... Oop, I accidentally turned on disable this keyboard shortcut. Use sticky keys. No. Oops. I was just sitting there spamming crouch trying to think, and it's just, I don't know. Yeah, sticky keys, gross. Jack-o'-lanterns, that's what I came over here for, thank you. Didn't we make a ridiculous amount of jack-o'-lanterns? I don't know, I think we're probably gonna make some more. Thank you, Metal. I only learned sticky keys was a thing because of Minecraft. I mean, sticky key. I don't want to say it was Minecraft. It might have been World of Warcraft using shift as a modifier to like cast spells, but still because of video games. Oh yeah, there were some jack-o'-lanterns. Okay, 14 will do. 14 will do. There was a creeper right there. Where did he go? That makes me a little nervous. Was I just like at that perfect distance to despawn him? I have no idea what happened to the creeper. Okay, so we don't need these carved pumpkins. 14 jack-o'-lanterns will be enough. Let's get us out another double chest to add more supplies to. There's the jack-o'-lanterns. We need some glass, so let's bring some glass with. We'll need some slime blocks. We've got the magma blocks. We'll need a minecart with hopper. We need every bit of rail that we possibly can. I think that's it. We have powered rails. I don't see any powered rails, chat room. Gross. I don't see any powered rails. Yeah, I don't know what the remind you Greek was. It would be cool if you built a dog hotel. That would be kind of neat. I mean, I think we have much more pressing builds right now, but at some point. Is this the one that you had on your skyblock as well? Yes, yes it is. Sorry I missed your message. Okay. I'm just trying to think of what else we might need. Looking at the description, a bunch of solid blocks, some sticky pistons, more solid blocks, a bunch of slabs, a bunch of obsidian, 430 obsidian. So this is, let's call it 60. So 60, 120, 240, 60, 120, 180, 240, 300, 360, 420. And it requires 430 obsidian, and we dropped the 4s. So what is this? 4, so 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. So we have 448 obsidian here. I do that math right? 64 times 7. Yeah, 448. I did that math correctly. So we've got that. 36 redstone dust, which we have. Redstone torch. Some glowstone, which jack-o'-lanterns will be fine. some redstone repeaters, 4 blocks of redstone, 40 magma blocks, 37 slime blocks, 3 glass blocks, 1 hopper minecart, and a bunch of Minecraft rails. We've got all of the supplies that we need. I am gonna swap some of those solid blocks with polished granite. This is something that I want to start getting in the habit of, and that's using polished granite as my "this is where my redstone is" block. It's a really, really good habit to have. And, you know, polished granite has such a bizarre coloring and texture that I find it's very hard to use in any aesthetic build. Like, this pink earth tone is just hard to use. And the only real aesthetic style that I'm good at is like the wooden, like the dark oak wood kind of like medieval style, which does not have these pink granites in it. I mean, yeah, that's good enough to start building. So we know all of the obsidian's coming. 60, 120. How much slabs did this say it needed? 60, 120. So 252. So that's basically 5 stacks of slabs. We're gonna put up these 2 stacks. It's better than the white granite stuff, IMO. I mean, let me show you something real quick. I actually kind of like the white granite because it can do like this. Like, I feel like that's a really nice accent piece to break up all of the like the dark colorations of the wood and like the stone. Additionally, I like it here as well in this like heavily shadowed area that's behind all of the other wood, making up a castle wall. And like, obviously this part of the castle never got done, but this is done. This is final product. You could ship this, and obviously it's tileable. You would obviously replace like some of this with, you know, cobblestone and spots with cracked stone to represent like this area was blown up and patched. You could see that I have some variants here. So I have mossy cobble here. We've got some cracked stone over here. And you would blend those together as needed with, of course, some cobblestone where you saw fit in order to create the illusion that it's been damaged and repaired. But, you know, the white, I feel like has a use. So anyway, and like, if that's literally the only aesthetic style I can even begin to build in. If there's any other style out there, I can't even begin to fathom what that aesthetic would look like. I am not good at anything else. Okay. So that's why I like the white, and like, my personal aesthetic never uses this granite. So I'm gonna use it as my redstone block is what I'll do. Where were we? We just did slabs. 430 obsidian, which we grabbed, 36 redstone dust, so there's that. It doesn't matter if we have a little extra, it's still gonna take up the same inventory space. Redstone torch, jack-o'-lanterns, repeaters, decorative blocks, so that's just solid blocks, and it says we need something like 3,000 decorative blocks, like 3,000 solid blocks. That's, you know, not even close. But what? It's a start. It's a start. Yeah, there's no way that all of this fits in our inventory in one trip. So we're going to have to start breaking that into multiple trips. So I don't think we're going to do the redstone anytime soon. We'll probably be able to start on... It's probably starting with, like, this. And then these slabs is probably what we start with. We build the floors, we build the sides, and maybe some slime blocks. And the pistons. Yeah, this is probably correct. So now we've got to... It's getting close to nighttime. We've got to figure out the positioning that we want to put this in. I want the entire thing to be at that sweet spot of within 24, or further than 24, but closer than 32. That's where I want it to be from my player. Do you know how that counts, chat room? Do you know if that counts like diagonal? May I suggest a future build? It's one that I made. That's a nice castle. I'm not maybe the biggest fan of the texture pack, but it's a nice castle. If we were to do something, I think what we would do is we would take this area and like make this the courtyard of a castle, and then we would build like the castle properly around it. Alternatively, we could treat it like a Martian colony, and each little building is connected to other buildings with like tubes and tunnels and stuff like that. But again, that's an aesthetic style that I just have no experience and I would never be able to do. Okay, so if our player, we need basically the closest point in this room to be 24 blocks away, is what it really is. So the closest that the player could ever be, I think we are pretty well sold on putting the Darkroom mob spawner over behind this. The only thing... I like that because the Darkroom mob spawner has like a sticky piston spam machine on the back of it, which does create noise. So by the noisy part of it will be like 30 blocks in the air right here, right? So like that kind of makes it a non-issue. And you also have to think that we're going to have like a tree farm that's going to be in this space here. This entire like back space like this will be a tree farm. Let's go take a nap. What I was trying to do with the castle that I showed you guys is the number one thing was to make room for the portcullis. I can show you that real quick. Hashtag NimsReadChat. I mean, I saw. I'm not going to click that link. That's a website I don't recognize. And I maybe chill on the links a little bit, repo, please. So the whole purpose of the front of this castle was really to hide the redstone that controls this. So that way we would have a proper, you know, portcullis operating here inside of our base. And again, you would do basically the same thing on that you did on the front, on the back side. And we have a proper portcullis. What's your favorite type of wood? Yours is spruce. Mine is spruce as well. Either spruce or dark oak, depending. Spruce is probably better as a log because dark oak just gets too dark. So like looking at the face of this, that's just too dark. There's just not enough visual interest there. And like the face of the wood is, I think, just a little too brown. I like the kind of red earthiness that the spruce has in it. This looks flat and gray to me, whereas the spruce has that brown. Now, the dark oak logs are pretty nice to look at, though. I could easily see myself using dark oak logs, or dark oak planks. Dark oak planks in the wall here. So like spruce definitely, easily for logs. Dark oak planks versus spruce planks, that's a toss-up. So. Okay, we just napped. Gotta figure out where we want to build the thing. It needs to be like 24 blocks away from wherever we're AFKing from. And then it also needs to be some height up. You know what, let's just move those. We don't need potatoes or rotten flesh. Gray. Gray? I like how the difference between gray and gray is whether you are an American with the A or European with the E. To me, it's an A. But so the closest, the tree farm does actually stick. The player moves 1 block further forward, so the player will be sitting under that block there. He will be standing here, as you can imagine, right here, and then he'd be 1 block higher, but I can't destroy this block because it has a sign on it. So he'd be 1 block higher, and this is where we'll be AFK for the tree farm. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 between there and there. Okay. 7, 7, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we could theoretically build the spawner right here. And actually I want to preserve this true center, so we're gonna do that. Okay, you could theoretically build it here, but then dropping the mobs become, did I just see a creeper? Is that just a bunch of grass? Oh. At the same time that we're thinking about this, we know that it's going to be, what, 11 wide and 10 deep. So let's go ahead and get that planned out as well. So this would be, here's true center. So then that's 5 on either side. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, we'll just take it up a block. 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. And there should be 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, okay, we're good. With true center being right there, which is where we would want this. So this is absolutely the positioning for true center, and then it'd be 10 blocks deep. The question is, as we build up, we can kind of diagonal this forward a little bit. Oh my gosh, you guys are now talking to like armor versus armor. Make it square? No, it's fine. A bit dazed. How's it going, man? Color versus color, defense versus defense. Yeah, with the C just looks wrong. S is the right way you spell defense. Hydrate for no reason. Actually, that last drink finished off the water bottle, so I can't. How far do these things need to fall? That's what I need to look at now.
All right at home. Before we actually get to building, you need to figure out where you want your mobs to die. So I want them to die right here on this layer that I'm standing on, which is Y50. Then I need to add 44 blocks to that. And that's where we're actually going to be building the mob farm, since we're going to be using primarily
44 blocks. So it's a 44 block fall distance. That's what I needed to know. Oh, okay. And Inception, right? I'm just catching up on chat room. You guys are ridiculous. They need to fall 44 blocks. And that's what I'm kind of trying to figure out. Like, if we have them fall 44 blocks, then that puts this, you know, we have a 2x2 hole right here. You know, it'd be a hole like this, deep into the earth. 44 blocks down. We could do it. Actually, it just needs to go 44 blocks up. Now that I think about it. 100% needs to go just 44 blocks up. The reason being, Enderman teleporting. I totally spaced on that. If we try to put it diagonal, so that way it's only a couple of blocks in the air, what's the Enderman teleport range? Enderman teleport range. It would need to be outside of that. The range in which an Enderman can teleport is 32 meters. However, they can teleport much further on the y-axis. While this is quite ambiguous, horizontal teleport distance seems accurate, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so 32 blocks. So we need them 32 blocks up, and there's a good chance that they might be able to teleport, like, on top of the trees. We need them to be inside of this, and then I don't think they can teleport while they're falling, at least not in my experience. So we just need to put this 44 blocks in the air. So 44 blocks up might mean that we actually straddle the top of the skeleton spawner, which gets a little bit odd. So 44 blocks up with 2 blocks on either side. How wide is our tree farm? That's the last thing that I think we need to know. 1, 2... And we would be able to put blocks right next to this and blocks right next to this. The light through the top is irrelevant. So yeah. So we would just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 11 blocks wide. Oh my god. So if we had an 11 block wide platform above it, I think obsidian. Okay, imagine this is several hundred block, not several hundred, but like, yeah, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yup. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is what we'd be looking at. Holy crap. It would be like, wow. It would just straddle the tree farm. This would be an amazing, efficient use of space if this is how it would work. And then we would have to go 44 blocks up. I mean, I think that this is fine. Maybe we do it 1 block further forward because it's closer to the spawning area that we would actually be standing inside of. And we still have to like budget this space anyway. I don't know, man. Because we also need it to be able to fall. Yeah, this seems reasonable. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, because we can't have Enderman teleporting out. We might need to slab the top of this, but that's not that big of a deal. We would probably do that anyway. Nims, speak with a British accent for 1 minute. I'll just not talk for the full minute. Oh, I hate him. Just came here to tell you that your videos and redstone stuff are amazing and helped a lot. You are a great dude. Koala, thank you for the kind words, man. I appreciate it. I mean, we're working on new builds all the time. I'll show you one here. This is something that we've been working on. Time set noon is fine. So like, be sure to follow the stream because this is where we do most of our testing. This is a bee farm, and the problem, before I explain this bee farm, and I'm gonna make this super quick, chat room. The problem with every other bee farm out there is it assumes that you have either a perfect, it assumes that you have perfect flows of water, of glass bottles. Either you have exactly like 1 stack of glass bottles in here at a given time, and that's some of the farms, or it assumes that you have infinite glass bottles in here and thus are able to keep it perfectly full 100% of the time. Well, the problem is both of those are like only Sith deal in absolutes, right? So they're just not, neither of those are very good designs. Your bee farm is better? No, it's not. I've got a belt over there. Sorry, dude. No, it's not. So the thing with this bee farm is if we say fill that area, beehive facing, I think this is north, honey level equals 5. See, it doesn't get harvested. Why doesn't it get harvested? Because we don't have enough glass bottles, but that's okay. Let me add 1 glass bottle. So this is emulating if it was hooked up to a darkroom spawner, if it's emulating if it's hooked up to a witch farm in where witches drop glass bottles. So I'm going to add 1 glass bottle. Boom, and it gets added. And we actually overflowed this thing on purpose for testing. So let me do that one more time. I was brute force testing it. So we add 1 glass bottle. And there's our 1 glass bottle, or there's our 1 honey bottle. And here, we'll go ahead and pull all of this out to make the testing a bit cleaner. So what's happening here is we only ever attempt to harvest the honey if there is a glass bottle inside of this item hopper. So like let's put like 5 honey bottles in here, right? Quite a few, okay? And then we're going to create honey, and there's a honey. And we'll do it again. There it is again. We'll do it again, and there's our 3rd, there's our 4th, and there's our 5th. Now let's go ahead and fill it up one more time. It never gets harvested because we ran out of honey bottles. But again, that's perfectly fine because at some point another witch is going to die and that witch is going to drop you a glass bottle. And there it is, and there's our 6th honey bottle. So it doesn't stall and it doesn't break whenever you run out of glass bottles, which every other design I've ever seen does. it requires you to have perfectly full glass bottles or perfectly empty glass bottles. This one, it doesn't care. It will work whenever it gets its glass bottle. It never will stall. It will never break. Do you have an example? What if you don't have a witch hut farm? Well, then this works exactly the same as any other farm. So that's a good example. That's a good question. So we'll go time set noon just because the daylight cycle is turned on. I think this is the one that you were telling me about, Sandman. So, fill here beehive. No. Beehive facing north, comma, honey level 5. Okay. We're going to add 3 glass bottles. I have to familiarize myself with how this one works again. Oh, this one was never finished. Oh, dude, I had it built right next to it. Okay. Well, this is fine. Fill beehive facing north, honey 5. Okay, cool. Perfect. This is a great example. Okay, so this is, right now, this type of farm assumes that you have a perfectly full glass bottle supply. Well, as soon as you create honey, it harvests it, no problem. Well, what if this thing isn't perfectly full? So we're just going to take out 1 stack of glass bottles. And it already, okay, so here's the first problem, is the honey bottle doesn't get generated on the hive, it gets generated inside of the dispenser, which means we never collect it. Now the next problem is at some point, this dispenser is going to choose to shoot out this honey bottle rather than shooting out a glass bottle, which means this farm stalls. And it's, you know, a 1 in 9 chance of this happening. And there it happened, perfect. So it chose to shoot out this honey bottle instead of shooting out a glass bottle, which means it's just stalled now. I have to manually go back in here and reset this thing. Metal Sand, you ask the direct question, what if you don't have a witch farm? This, if I were to then add the glass bottles back in, this thing doesn't fix itself. I still have to manually go in here and break redstone. And you know, you probably got this all hidden, sequestered off in your base somewhere. It's probably not easy to access. And I would need to go in here and manually fix the farm, destroying redstone and replacing redstone. Even though I've re-added the glass bottles, I've met its new, the condition it's required, I still have to manually fix it in a second way. Well, let's say that you don't have a witch farm, right? Which is exactly the situation that Metal Sandman is proposing. Well, both of these, you would be able to put, say, a hopper into them, and then, say, a double chest full of glass bottles, right? When you run out of glass bottles in this one, I've already shown you that it breaks and you need to manually fix it. With this one, the same way, you would add a bunch of glass bottles into this, but instead of it breaking, when you finally get around to adding your glass bottles back in, it just harvests it. So if you don't have a witch hut, if you don't have a witch farm, well then this is still the superior design because you don't have to manually fix it every time it breaks. And and like, of course you're going to pull out these honey bottles, you'll combine them into honey blocks, then you'll have 8 honey bottles. You'll have 8 glass bottles in return, and then you just put those glass bottles back into the chest. Mine is still better. I mean, you're just memeing at this point, bud. you know as well as I do that this is not a great design. And this is very comparable to the designs that every single YouTuber out there is publishing. And I'm very disappointed in it. Because it assumes perfection. And like, we all know that perfection is unobtainable. So this design assumes nothing and just says, hey, I'll work with whatever you give me. And isn't that a much better way to lead your life? You're just memeing. So looking at this, looking at the bee farm, I realized that we could use the pollen that drips off the bee butts to super grow carrots, and that you could then use a carrot farm, and that you could use that super growth carrot to make a carrot farm even more efficient. So I combined a bee farm together with a villager carrot farm for rate improvement on the carrots. And this is another video that we could make. I don't even know if that person's even in chat anymore, Koala. So, and then you can see that this is just carrots on carrots on carrots. And then also I need to make this like villager produce farm. Most villager produce farms are absolutely terrible because just reasons. There's a whole bunch of reasons, but basically villagers don't harvest their full area. Even though they technically can reach that huge circle, they never go out past like 4 blocks past their workstation. So the blocks that are like way out on the edges are just dead blocks. You would be much better off super growing your carrots closer to the villager workstation, which is the point of combining it with the bee farm. I mean, I appreciate that question, Metal, but don't bully people into subbing. Hexadin, sub to me or I'll ban you. Unrelated. Anyway. So this needs to go 44 blocks straight up. So at this point we need to discuss where... Oh, God. Nims, remember what happened to the last person I asked? I don't even remember. I don't need any of this. It's just got to go 44 blocks up. So the tree farm, let's go get some blocks to represent the space that the tree farm is going to take. I believe there will be demonstration. What do you mean demonstration? We'll get out some diorite. Yeah, that'll be enough. And it should be night soon, right? I thought I saw the sunset. Oh, yeah, no, we've got time. I'm just an idiot. And thanks for the new follows, guys. I really do appreciate that. Need to get some sort of on-screen notification turned back on, but y'all understand. So the player will be standing here. So that's 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, yeah, basically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the 11 by 11. Just double check that the tree farm can fit in the space. I think it's this one. Nope. Yeah, it's this one. We did the math on this once. So the tree farm would overlap from this point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 from this point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh yeah, we have 2 blocks of spare back here. We can easily fit the tree farm in depth-wise. Right? Yeah, easily fit the farm in depth-wise. This chest, I don't think... Oh, it does do something. So, and that sits where? Oh, the same height as all the other stuff over here, which we have 2 blocks of height because we have, you know, there's the skeleton spawner. So the tree farm should be able to fit. So then... Yeah, and there's still plenty of space. So then it just goes 44 blocks up. And at what spot does the player stand? I guess that doesn't matter. We'll figure that out later. So it's something in this space, right? It's the tree farm is effectively... Yeah, it's effectively this space. So we've just got this like sequestered off now. You gifted me one because I don't have any non-Amazon Primes. Oh, right. Dragonob says hello. Yeah, thanks again for that follow, man. I appreciate it. So if that's what the tree farm's gonna look like, and this redstone doesn't interfere with like a wall being immediately next to it, then we can build... I need to go sleep. We can build the dark room mob spawner directly above it. Raven Dragon Big sad that Nims doesn't read chat. Feels bad. I do my best to read chat. So 44 blocks straight up. Let's go ahead and grab these magma blocks. I want them to die on basically the same level that the floor is on, because I have a feeling that this floor is going to be the new floor for like this entire area. We're just gonna make this floor height the floor height of this entire space. So if this is the height, which is 65, then cool. I mean, we could just, it's 10 by, yeah, it's just 10 right here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Is that legal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be legal. So this is where our mobs would die, and we just get to walk right past them as they're dying, because this is the height that we're going to be building on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we'll have like giant chutes that lead into the sky that drops the mobs onto this space. Is this 10 blocks apart or 11 blocks apart? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oof. You know what I just realized? This is the equivalent of, where's that tree farm? Oh, highlight my message. Nims, hashtag Nims read chat. Just resend your message with the highlight. Don't tell me to read chat because then I have to scroll up and I never see it. Oi, Nims, what's worse than dying in adventure mode or having to get up and fill your bottle to hydrate? I do need to go fill my bottle to hydrate. Magma blocks. Oof, okay. Maybe this is a bit of an issue. Because this would be right here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So whenever we talk about building the walls that go up, we are talking about this. And then, you know, we lose that spot. Because that's where the redstone sits. We just lose everything. And I mean, yeah, we could use a stair there. It can't be wider than 11 because the redstone signal doesn't go that far. Spiders could get stuck in this. Which we could have ways of preventing. Nims needs a read chat emoji. Oh god. Oh, Metal Sandman redeemed hydrate. My water bottle's empty. I've got too many numbers in my head. I'll have to redeem it in a minute. He's got a point. He's got a point, Repo. So this is the issue that I'm running into. Whenever we start to... Okay, this is just a giant wall of glass, right? This redstone, and we'll also have a giant wall of glass right here. Or solid block, it doesn't matter what this is. Some aesthetic building block of player's choice, right? We have a gap right there where this redstone must sit. Even if we were able to move the redstone around a little bit, we would still have to have 1, 2, 3 redstone here. That must always happen. Because there's a chance that like I could bring it into like this block there and just do some stuff with it from that perspective. But we still have this gap. I assume observers won't work. Yeah, not for what we're doing. Because it's a triple piston extension is what this redstone is there for. I can show you what it does. So theoretically, this torch turns on, which extends all of these pistons a triple length. You can see that they're all triple extended on this side. And you can see here that we're even really close. And, you know, the same issue is going to exist on this side as well. Except it'll exist even worse. Oof, because I see... So again, we've got... It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I just can't get walls here. I can't really thin up the tree farm at all. I can't get one thinner. Okay. Well, we still have a chance here. Replace some of the redstone with conductive blocks? No, that definitely won't work. Especially on this side. Like, this redstone must be redstone. Because of how the countdown repeater clock works. Additionally, the redstone here, the timing is very important. I cannot use repeaters on this line at all. Nowhere can I use a repeater up here. If you see that when this torch turns on, there's a 15 signal strength here. It's a 1 signal strength here. There is no room for play. It kind of goes to emphasize how perfectly designed this tree farm is, and I am very proud of this tree farm, but there is just no room for play. Did redstone beat NIMS? Well, I mean, I just can't put the mob farm where I was trying to put the mob farm, is all that this is. It's not... I was trying to make it super compact and use a bunch of, like, really space-efficient building strategies, but I just can't do it. And remember that we're already putting the tree farm in between, like, inside of the crook of the skeleton mob grinder. So, like, I'm already very space efficient. I'll just have to put the tree farm... Excuse me, I'll just have to put the dark room mob spawner somewhere else. So, this definitely is not going to work. That's 100% sure. Okay. So, what about this side? Can we straddle? Can we straddle the builds on this side? Not really, because we need sky access for the, whatchamacallit. For the fishing farm. Nothing can go above it. I'm thinking now, we could move our... Because these are just 3 small farms, right? These 3 farms could be moved over onto this wall. And then the tree farm could be built on this side. And then the dark room mob spawner could be built up around... No, that still wouldn't work. Because you can't build the dark room mob spawner above the fishing farm. Nor can you build the dark room mob spawner around the tree farm. Oof. Oof. That just made all of this so much more complicated. I appreciate you, Padawan. Could you just move the fish farm? Conceptually, yes. I mean, obviously, these don't need to be doors here. These could be farms. And the fish farm could go to the left or to the right. The thing that I'm trying to avoid is how I envision this, like, later build is I definitely envision a... trying to think of the words. I definitely envision this being like open. You can just walk in through this area is like a 3x3 hole, and you can just walk through, right? And then there's all sorts of cool stuff over in this area, like pumpkin farms and melon farms, and which we'll need to have relatively close to feed the bone meal of the tree farm. We'll need to have a potato carrot produce farm. I'm sure that we're going to want to set up like a villager trading hall, and all of that I'm going to try to centralize on this point. If the farm needs the player to be right next to it, so like a villager trading hall or something like that, then it's probably going to be on like the ground floor, so on this height. But if the farm can just ship its items off and then have the player interact with the items from anywhere, then the farm will probably be built up into the sky or underground, and then the items will be moved accordingly. The thing that I'm trying to recognize is that the dark room mob spawner has a very narrow range that it will be active from. Mobs start despawning past 32 blocks, and we're going to have, it's going to have to be 44 blocks up in the sky. So we need to process those mobs as quickly as possible, and also have them be as close to the player as possible to reduce the chances of them despawning. So I want it to be centered on our AFK room, so that way, that's where we're going to be spending the vast majority of the time. Nims, if you haven't already, you might look into saving the VODs from this playthrough, just in case it gets big and you want to keep it in some form. You know what? I really should be exporting all of these VODs to, like, some YouTube channel. Nims hates me. He won't tell me if redstone can be placed on magma. I don't have redstone on me, or else I would have looked. I don't remember if it can or can't. Happy? Yes, it can. Wait, we'll do one more test. There you go. You should really hydrate before you dehydrate. Ugh. As soon as I figure out the positioning of this build, I will go fill up my water bottle. Yes, I have to jump place it, clearly. So every single AFK build needs to be in this room, connected to this room. That's the pumpkin carver, that's the cobblestone / concrete converter, and that's the fishing farm and the tree farm. In this configuration, we preserve our hallway, allowing us to pass through this very nicely. So here, we can just punch this out. I'm not super concerned with it. We'll replace it all later. So again, imagine this is a hallway that we are just able to quickly move between, and this is just more base over here. So hey, look at this. I could just walk into this room, and without breaking stride, I'm through and onto the other side. Hey, I need to AFK. Hey, I just run in, and now I'm AFKing, right? Name, shoot me a PM in Discord in regard to VODs. You shoot me a Discord PM. So, can XP move upstairs? No, it can't even move up carpets, which was a huge challenge with this build. Like, it all looks so easy to understand, but like, okay, it can move. If the player's there, it can get to me, but like, watch this. If we place a single slab, I'm just checking what time it is, and we just gotta go to bed. It can't even get up carpets, So, water elevators. The other problem with experience is it only exists for a minute. It has a 1 minute despawn period, so it needs to get wherever the hell it's gonna go within a minute. Which is not long. And it tracks directly to the player. It can't move intelligently. So depending on the positioning of all of our XP farms, we would also need to have a water elevator that could somehow move, which is just becomes impossible. I will when I'm not at work. Okay, thank you, Padawan. So I don't know if you can see that, but there is an experience orb. There are a host of experience orbs trapped on the other side of that slab. You can see them there all merging into one. You see them there? And so that's the problem, is there's absolutely nothing that we can place on the floor. We can't even place, like I said, can't even place carpet down. If the player does not like have some sort of, if they're not close enough to lift towards the player, then they just can't get over things. They just can't do it. So let's turn off hitboxes. So we want it within range. God, if we could have built it around the tree farm, that still would have just been the greatest. How wide is this back area? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But with solid blocks, so it would work back here if it weren't for the fishing farm. The fishing farm having direct exposure to sunlight is worth 50% efficiency. You could elevate it as long as the experience orbs could be in direct contact with the player. So like, let's say I was 1 block up here. Well, this still works because the experience orbs can move up a block. But if I were, if there was a block between me and the experience orbs, like in this position, the experience orbs will not be able to reach me. You know, maybe they explode out to the side and then come at me from an angle. But if they're straight on, they just can't do it. Come on, wolves. Get your job done. Kill some skeletons. There you go. Am I, like, distracting them? There they go. So this one will be able to reach me. But any one that's in front of us... Yeah, and you can see that there's a bunch. They just can't do it. They just can't do it. They'll just sit there until they despawn. And that's like, that's the issue. If it weren't for the fishing farm, this would work. So I'm looking and reevaluating. Does the fishing farm need to be here? Could we, as an example, put the fishing farm over into like this space? Maybe like you AFK right here, and this is where you fish at, right? because the experience can track to you anywhere inside of this room. I'm gonna go ahead and put these walls back up. I'm feeling very naked and exposed right now. So like the fishing farm could go in this spot. I'm pretty sure that doesn't interfere with the tree farm at all. Then we have some symmetry issues. We have some symmetry issues because then what goes over here? A nano farm? Do we even need a nano farm? You know? What other AFK? What other farms are AFK-able? Creepers and redstone don't mix. Well, where did that come from? No, of course they don't. What exactly mixes with creepers? High-speed arrows, yes, with flame on them. So the fishing farm could come out and get moved into one of these positions. And then we would be facing like this way to fish. Tree farm still goes in that position. It wouldn't change anything. Then we put the dark room mob spawner above this area. The walls here are fine. Berry farm's best farms. You're just trying, man. You're being such a meme lord today. Berry farms are terrible. No one ever in the history of Minecraft has any reason ever at all to build a berry farm. Unless you're like, it's such a weird, no, there's no reason. The only reason somebody should ever build a berry farm is if they're a bad player and they kill all of their passive animals without ever establishing a food source. But if they're good enough to build a berry farm, then they're good enough to build any other farm. This is so bad. There are berries in Minecraft? Yeah. So we could make a nano farm in this space. I would love, absolutely love, to figure out how to make a... What is it called? A netherwort? A netherwort farm? Huge problems with netherwort farming though. Is there anything else that's like AFK-able? Nano farm. Chorus fruit? You get like 0-tick chorus fruit? Yeah, the only good netherwort farm I saw was, what was it, Ilmango's? Where he's using, like, minecart right-click left, oops. Where he's using, like, a player in a minecart holding down right-click and left-click, and then very specific, like, you have to have the pitch of your character, like, the positioning of it, exactly perfect. He had some way of measuring it to, like, what the exact... Oh, yeah, it's right there on the facing. It had to be at, like, you know, 11.2. It was the only height that your character could be facing. It was ridiculous. And that was the only decent one I saw. A pig farm? I mean, fair. You could have a breeder, like some sort of cows jumping up and down in water, and then you, the player, are just holding right click with some sort of food source breeding animals. But what is that? Cows require wheat, and wheat farms are a nightmare to build because you have to like micromanage your villagers' inventory and make sure that they are stacked in seeds but can never collect wheat, so the wheat rates are super terrible. And like, to what end? What does a cow auto farm give you? Leather and beef? Well, beef isn't that great of a food source. It's arguably top 5. Some people would have it as like a number 1 or a number 2, but it's still, at best, number 2. Golden carrots are better, and you can automate both the collection of carrots and of gold. If you want a lot of books, in fairness, leather is only kind of farmable through that. Right. Nano farms for wheat would be nice, I guess. Because, well, we actually have 3 spots for farms. Well, 2. If we're moving the fish farm from there over into that spot, or right here, it's kind of irrelevant, then we need to get a nether, or excuse me, then we have this open slot next to these 2 farms that we have room for, and then we have the spot that I'm standing in. At least in order to keep it all symmetrical. The nano farms will let you spend your bones. The tree farm is where we're going to be spending our bones. But I mean, your point still stands. We'd be able to split up our bones and send half of them to the tree farm, half of them to the nano farm. But again, what does the nano farm really give you? Carrots, you can auto farm those with a villager. You don't need to AFK farm them. Potatoes, you can auto farm those with a villager. You don't need to... The only thing that would be a little better as a nano farm than a villager farm is wheat and beetroot. And like, is wheat and beetroot good enough to justify building something for it? Nano farms aren't hard and don't take up much room. I mean, fair. A nano farm would be way easier than building a wheat farm. Wheat is only really good for steak. And we've already established that steak is kind of a meh food source. Cooked salmon is just fine for the early to mid games. We'll be using cooked salmon until we get golden carrots. We'll skip steak entirely. Books. I mean, we're disenchanting huge quantities of books here, of enchanted books, and turning them into regular books. But then again, having a ton of... I mean, the fishing farm supplies us all the leather. I've thrown it all on the ground. But all the leather we need for a reasonable amount of books. And at the same time, we just disenchant, we grind up the enchanted books and get books. Books can also be done. Okay, I'm gonna go fill up my water bottle, chat room. Think about it. Nano, like small farms, AFK farms. Somebody pull up, do a Google search. Find me a list. mean, the clear answer in my mind is a nether wart farm. Okay. I got my water bottle. Oh, I like splashed myself in the face. Ugh, that was so much hydrate. Okay. The answer is nether wart. I feel like that's for sure. But the problem with nether wart is they're usually giant AFK farms. There's nothing about anything that goes into this room is a giant thing. The tree farm is going to be the biggest, and like even then. And like we probably could make a 1-cell nether wart farm, you know, using some sort of what is it? Nether wart. And then what does it need to be placed on? Soul sand. Okay, yeah, I mean, like, can you bone meal this? I don't know if you can. No. Fill that area. Nether wart age. I don't know what the max age is. 3? Okay. So the problem is, so it would have to be done on a clock, and you, the player, would have to be holding right click while you AFK'd here. That's what it would have to be. So you would have to have this would be such a ridiculous build. I can't hold left click. Actually, I could, because I could put an air block above this. Nope, because I need to hold right click at the block in front of me. So let's say age 2. Yeah, that's fine. Hitbox doesn't start. Yeah, so I would be able to... I mean, it doesn't... Yeah. I mean, but this would have to be something... I'd either have to be getting pushed left to right on a relatively fast basis. This would be, if this works, I'm just gonna say right now that this is gonna be the most ridiculous little piece of bullshittery you've ever seen, chat room. Is there anything slippery that you could put underneath slime blocks? Okay, here's what we do. Obviously, I'm not going for like size or space or nothing of that, even in that ball field, ballpark, whatever the hell. This is me like improvising on the fly, okay? So like if it's garbage and terrible, y'all are just gonna have to suck it up. Okay, the hardest block that the player can obtain is obsidian. That might be a 1 tick. Oof. I forgot that it would grab the soul sand block. Okay. Let's just pretend. Okay. It's all right. I have no idea how that happened. What is this block that I'm looking for? Nether wart. Oh, it's 2 words. Why was I in the middle? I should never end up in the middle. Okay, well, we have a different plan here. There's no point in setting up a 0-tick bamboo or cactus farm in AFK. Yeah, no, there's not. Yeah, is the nether still loaded if you're not there? If so, is it possible to portal pigmen into your base and auto die there? Yes, it's possible to keep multiple dimensions loaded, but no, pigmen wouldn't be able to spawn in the nether because there is no player in the nether. This is gonna be the most absurd thing I've ever built in my life. There's a chance that it works. There's just a chance that it doesn't. I hope, chat, I hope that you are okay with that. Okay. And then, I don't know, we could just let it get gathered into the player's inventory. It's not that big of a deal. So I would just sit here, holding both right click and... See, that's interesting. Why did I not get bounced? Why did I end up in the middle? That's a problem. Let's scoop back a hair. Rubbing on soul sand? That's why I scooted back just a touch. No, it happened again. Why? Like, why am I not being, like, aggressively bounced by this slime block? Okay, that worked. Let's reduce the time of this. See, it happened again. That time it was fine. Fine. Why is it working now? Is it like the quick release on these? Maybe they need to stay extended longer? I feel like that helped. Okay, we're gonna try holding right click and left click again. Okay, so I grew the one in the middle. I'm holding right click and left click. I destroyed it. It doesn't look like I'm replacing it. Yeah. We're moving the player quickly enough that, okay, if all of these were gone... Yeah, if I hold right-click, clearly this works. But I couldn't have the player... Because the left-click overrides the right-click, it seems. We're gonna super grow the one in the middle again. Yeah, and there's just nothing to do about that. Nims, the farm I had was an observer that counted how many growth stages it was on when it broke it with a piston. Can you do that? So I mean, how fast does the player break down an observer? Well, pretty slowly. So you'd have to detect what? 5 stages? Right? Nims, with that method, you wouldn't need to hit to break because it would break alone. You would need to detect when it gets placed. And then stage 1, I guess stage 0 is when it gets placed, isn't it? So you just have to detect 4 stages. You'd have to count the 4. So realistically, you just need to have the player move left and right a bunch. But you wouldn't need to hold left and right click, only click to place netherwort. Right. Okay, so this is dead. This is dead to me. Actually, I need to get into this habit of not destroying things I build. Because sometimes, months later, I'll come back and be like, hey, you know that design that I had? I came up with a new use for it. And then I'm mad at myself because I deleted it. Okay. So, an observer-based system... this could be simplified if it were just a minecart, right? You could just have... And it's going to be smaller. We know that. And then all you need is... And it would be, again, it's perfectly fine if it goes into the player's inventory. We would not do it this way. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I actually needed a few. I mean, so this clearly works. And then that would happen. Jump in. Move a little bit. Yeah, so the player could definitely right-click to place it. Observer. So we need a way of being able to count an observer 4 times. That's tileable, ideally. I wonder, could you shortcut this? This is gonna be absolutely ridiculous if it works. Do you see what I'm going for? If this works... Nah, this couldn't work. No, yes, this is still something. Now, how would I angle correctly to be able to replace them? It would have to be a downward angle. Yeah, okay. So what I was thinking is you could have the player holding right click, and then upon reaching the correct growth stage, and see, once this guy hits growth stage 3, I can no longer right click the button, which would be some sort of indication that that thing is grown. However, how do I replace it whenever it's... Okay, so it was a neat idea, but ultimately unsuccessful. You want me to send you the video I found the farm was on? He had an observant? Yes, send me that. Thank you for having that link ready.
Oh, hey guys, what's up?
Oh god,
it's a bit loud. I'm sitting in my minecart in front of my brand new fully automatic AF-cable nether wart farm I dreamed up last night. So yeah, let's check it out. Last night I was laying awake, and yeah, I came up with this setup here. Pretty smart little thing, what it can do, and it's super clean and compact. So the principle we use is...
Okay, I can get it all from this screenshot. The server facing this way into a... Is that droppers facing up? Okay, maybe we can't.
This is one slice of it. This is a machine that can keep track of growth stages of nether wart. So we can see here is a dropper.
Okay,
right?
so he's using a counter. Okay, so it's a dropper facing up and then a dropper facing down. Okay, so so then it goes into solid block, into dropper facing up, into dropper facing down. And you said that this still breaks though? With a observer facing this way. Into a, I can't tell what that block is. It looks like a 3-tick repeater.
Keep track is, this is one slice of it. This is a machine that can keep track of growth stages of nether wart. So we can see here is a dropper, right? It has 4 items, and if you place down a nether wart, we're down to...
Yeah, the main counting method gets messed up somehow over time. I would assume that that is because... Yeah, I know why that happens. You, the player, are replacing the nether wart at the exact moment that it gets destroyed, is why it breaks. So you don't get that last pulse. I'd be willing to bet, I'd bet a lot of money, that what you see is your counter sitting at 3 when this thing is fully grown. I'd put money on that. Can't escape a week without someone mentioning a hermit canny. What are the 2 that it was again? Yeah, it's fine. I'm not a big fan of Doc M's because 90% of Doc M's farms, he just takes from other people and then reposts on his channel, which is very lazy content creation. Now it does seem like this one is his own unique design, which is good, but he doesn't even like innovate. He's not pushing the... Anyway. I'll just tell you how I really feel, chat room. What? Am I ever going to become a hermit? No. Anyway. So up forward. I can't tell if that's like a 3-tick repeater on top.
And break the nether wart, just as we see over here. Then it gets broken, you know, and you roll by with your minecart and can replant. So over there we can see this thing just made a grow stage, right? So we got 2 items left here. The next grow stage, this was crush and reset. So let's check it out. Hopefully it'll grow. I have the random tick speed up a bit. But yeah, I was just sitting in there for a little while in survivals. Go AFK. Works really flat. But alright, let's do a quick tutorial for the thing. As long as it's suggested from behind and you do observe piston. Do it best from crusher pit here. And from continue a little bit.
Why does he have his pistons being observed? That seems bizarre to me. I alt-tabbed. Row
full blocks, and from there we want to have our droppers, and the droppers need to face upward. This is our counter setup, and each of those contain 4 items, right? 4 items each, and then we need to place droppers on top facing down. So what you could do is, I don't know, and then we just place them like this. Oops. And yeah, as I said, they need to be empty. Alright, so next stage. So now to reset, we have another line of blocks here. The reset works that way. When the signal comes through and this piston triggers, we check it with this observer and then send the signal back to reset, right? So yeah, now all we need to do is we need to read out the contents of these droppers here, because they are the ones that indicate the growth stage with the items moving out of them, and when they're empty, they will have not a readout here with the comparator.
Realistically, James, you could fix this design by launching the player on set intervals and I don't know, man. It breaks over time. That's the issue that I'm running into. Is this just hard breaks over time? I see reusing other people's designs. You mean literally almost any tutorial person ever? Go look at my designs and tell me how many I've reused. But sure. With the 4 items being there, if 4 different non-stackable items, yeah, that wouldn't fix it. Good suggestion. But the issue is, as James has described it, as you are moving left to right in your cart here, right? And you're just holding right click while you're AFK. Right click, right click, right click. Eventually, one of these things is going to hit a growth stage of 4. Which we've detected, you know, slowly over time, blah, 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 blah. Imagine that this is done. So then as soon as it hits a growth stage of 4, this piston will trigger and which then sends the signal back through this observer to then move the items back down into this dropper. I'm assuming that at some point, as this piston is triggering, because it double pulses, James, while he's AFK, of course, is placing either an item down in the middle of those two triggers, or literally immediately after the second trigger, which means that this observer would still be on cooldown and not move the item through. Or if it was on the cooldown, then maybe if he's placing that item down in the middle, it pushes an item up too soon and gets the whole farm out of whack. Without looking at it and without knowing how fast the player is placing items and the observer, I don't know the observer's cooldown off the top of my head, but I'm assuming that it's something with one of those two things causing a break. At that point, it's not relevant how many items are in the dropper. It's relevant that the observer is detecting things in the incorrect sequence. Only allow planting after the wart has broken. That's also a problem. So that's what I was thinking about, and that's like, if I started to say the phrase, "you could fix this," but then I cut myself off because I was like, nope, that wouldn't work either. So another good suggestion, Eldon. That would work for a like a single nether wart farm. That would work. But the problem is, as soon as you add the second nether wart, you have some amount of randomness that's in between these two nether warts. So if we were to keep the player parked right here, right? And then say that this is just a like a rail block, and then this block is always powered, okay? And then we only power this whenever one of these, again, imagine that this signal that we finished building it, right? And then we power it only when one of these guys gets broken. And maybe we have the player park one block further, right? So that way he's not actively doing anything. So we do just like this. Well, the issue with that is if you launch the player after one of these breaks, there's a chance that the second one in line will break as you are getting launched to repair the first one. In which case, the problem that causes them to break would still happen. Admittedly, it happened less often if you were to do a system like that, but it would still happen. This farm would still eventually grind to a halt. All except for one would break in that scenario. Whereas eventually on a long enough time scale, DocM's default design will all break on a long enough time scale. So you could either have the farm basically only be one cell, and then, you know, nothing will break because one cell is stable. But as soon as you add a second cell, it becomes unstable. What if you move the player a block back, then the nether wart is broken, a second line of pistons blocks the player's view? Okay, let's take a look. I understand what you're saying, I just can't visualize it. So we have... Ugh. And then the players, of course, being pushed left to right, left to right, left to right. So how would you know when it's okay to pull up a piston. Okay, let's finish building it. And maybe there will be a clean answer in here. So let's add our 3. There's comparators. We need 4 items. Okay, so 4, 4, and 4.
They will have not a readout here with the comparator and a switch, and therefore turn on these torches, which will then in turn turn on these pistons here. You can place directly on top like that, and those pistons we use for a reset line. And we use pistons here, not redstone, just to make sure it's stackable, right? So yeah, what we need is a row of observers here up in front,
Which I already have.
Those are the ones we use to trigger the pistons. Then
Think.
we need repeat.
I don't think I actually do. Which way are... Okay, I don't have them. Okay, so they go like this. So he's using quasi-connectivity, which I am not the biggest fan of. But, you know, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do.
It would be nice, so we see you want to have on top. So
I just need to know what the block is in between.
First setting,
A 2-tick repeater. That's not a 3-tick repeater. Is that the right? No, I put that in the wrong spot. And I think I faced it the wrong way.
yeah, we need to.
Yeah, it needs to be facing
put
forward.
just like have it all sit in proper row and start playing. If you really just go ahead and that's the tracks, right? So it's not constant.
Okay, yeah. So this is now done. So we should be able to go nether wart. Let me pull chat back up. Okay, so there's 1, 1, 1. And see, now we're at 3. So we have 3 more growth stages that we need to... Why is that one at 4? See, now it's at 3. Now if I replace it, it's going to be at 2. That's a I don't even understand what could have caused that. Why? What? I just got an alert that Overwatch has started an update, so we're gonna go cancel that update. Battle.net, what you doing, dude? Exit Steam. Exit BNet. Alright. So how this works is when this eventually hits 0, it would crush, adding that back in, and then the player replaces. And see, it didn't do it again. Why is that not triggering? I think it's quasi-connectivity. And I don't know how to prove it, but I think that's what it is. When this guy turns on, he powers this block, which causes this dropper to trigger, And because this dropper is triggering, it updates this guy's quasi-connectivity state, which allows it to see this block here being powered. I don't think that it ever gets properly updated again. So I think that on this first placement, it gets updated, and now it can move. But I think that if this were to hit 4 times, now it's at 2, now it's at 1, now it's at 0, now it's back at 4, it's still at 4. Which means that it's quasi-connectivity that's the issue. And this is why I fucking hate quasi-connectivity. I'm gonna lose my mind. So what the issue is, surprisingly, is the reset is working correctly. But when it goes to reset, this piston pushes downward, which then updates this observer, which sends out the signal here, which then sends, which then powers this dropper to reset the system. But because this block is becoming powered, and this block here is being updated by this dropper, this bottom dropper sees this guy becoming powered through quasi-connectivity, but it's never reset. And it's never allowed to work again correctly. So then the first trigger of the player replanting the nether wart here acts to update this block and then allows it to work correctly. Just use redstone lamps. I mean, technically you should be able to do the same thing with note blocks, right? The redstone lamps do also have a different timing delay, so it's possible redstone lamps are the answer. Oh. I don't think you're wrong. It might be something like that fixes it. Okay, so we're gonna trigger this a whole bunch. Okay. And it shouldn't be at 3. Oh, I never replaced that. It's still at 4. Oh, it's because this guy's never being powered. You can push signals through redstone lamps, can't you? Or excuse me, through okay. Okay, so there's okay, so this should not be at 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Two, 3, 4. I don't know. I'm just curious. 3, 2, 1. It's still at 1. It's just not properly resetting. So he's using quasi-connectivity as a dropper lock at some point, but then it never properly unlocks. Oh, God. I mean, there's still one more option. There really is. Not there. But here. So 1, and it didn't release. There it was. 2, 3, and there's 4. And then it resets to 4. We place, and this should be at 3. I don't fucking know, dude. The basic solution I had was to just decrease the number of items in the dropper. It kind of makes sense because the first stage is just missed. So, like, only placing 3 items makes sense. Feels like a complete redesign required. I mean, yeah. Again, the first stage is ignored. Now it should be at 2, 1, 0. Yeah, so that's good. The first stage is ignored, so it stays at 3. This seems like it would work. How did this do for you, James? Whenever you took it down to 3. How consistent is that? So 2, 3. It gets destroyed. The player would pick up the item because he's standing right next to the thing, you know, zooming back and forth right in front of it. And there was no way that we were collecting the item or like blocking this off. That just wasn't gonna happen. Okay, so there's 3. Still 3 because it still thinks it's quasi-locked, but it's not. So the first pulse unlocks the quasi-lock. I wonder if this thing is like a north-south, like a dependent design as well. 3 was where I had it. Was it consistent at that point? At 3 where it was working, but eventually breaking. Let's see if it happens to the middle. There's 2. That should be 1. That should happen. It should be back to 3. It should ignore the first one. And it did. Now it should be at 2. Now 1, because it did just actually update for real. And now 0. Update back to 3. Ignore the first. Yeah. God, I hate quasi-connectivity so much. Girlfriend's gonna get home soon. As soon as girlfriend gets home, we have to go. But I'm gonna give it a try a little bit longer here. I'm gonna give it my effort. So we know we need to observe. In my mind, I want to use what I use on my pumpkin farms and use a like observer lock like this. Now, out of curiosity, if we power the dropper, okay, it doesn't power the comparator, which is all I really cared about. Quasi connection is an issue. That is what I'm trying to find out. Comparators and signal strength through redstone might work. It wouldn't be compact, but it might get you in the right direction. I mean, but it's quasi connectivity that's the issue. So 3 fixed the quasi issue, back to the simultaneous break issue. Right. Yes, actually, Eldon, that's a great point, because I had kind of forgotten about that. I didn't even think that there would be a quasi issue, and when it did have a quasi issue, I forgot about the simultaneous break issue. These things are just dirty, dude. And again, I'm frustrated with... Look at this. Almost 100,000 views. That's a 99% like to dislike ratio, and we just proved in 10 minutes that this is a bad design. Like, what? What? And it's from somebody that, you know, you would consider to be well respected in the Minecraft community. He even has a verified badge neck. It makes me angry to no end. But, you know, it is what it is. It's the way the world works. Makes me so frustrated, though. So I imagine that we have 4 items in here, and that's how we count. I have something in my eye. This torch... trying to figure this out. I really want this torch to be 4 to block. Like this. But then, I mean, this doesn't become stackable at this point if I do something like that. If only Nim's superior B form was a toot on YouTube. Comparator and redstone signal would eliminate the quasi, wouldn't it? Yeah, but then it wouldn't be stackable. It wouldn't be tileable, is the word I'm looking for. I need this hopper. Let's not worry about tiling just yet. We're just gonna go for it. I mean, this is gonna have problems. It's gonna be quasi-powered. Yeah. I hate quasi-connectivity so much, with such a passion. This might actually make a loop, though, which is another issue. So if you are detecting the growth stages of something, and then you have a piston extend forward to destroy it, and your delays are off by even like 1 game tick, you just create a loop where the observer detects the piston extending, which then sends out a signal, which then extends the piston, which the observer detects, which sends a signal, which pistons extends and sends a signal, and piston extends, and you just loop. Could we use water and forego pistons? I mean, that's possible. What happens when you dispense water on a... Oh, God. You'd have to double pulse it, but that's not that bad. Why didn't you get picked up? Oh, it's because you're still quasi-powered. Hello? I mean, if it wasn't quasi-powered, that wouldn't have been an issue. And it does prove that you can use water to destroy it. Yeah, so you can clearly use water to destroy it on the correct pulse signal. But again, you still run into problems here you still run into issues of I don't know how to describe this, of creating a loop where you send out the water, the observer detects the water, sends out a signal, which sends out the water. Is there a way that we could have... I mean, I guarantee I can make this a 1 wide. Just crappy little thing. The problem is getting that signal to come back. And that's where I understand why he did what he did. But what he did doesn't work. Because you need to create a signal that so okay, if I were to use a hopper like I have right here, this hopper needs to stay off until this dropper is completely full, which means that realistically this dropper needs to have some combination of items where a single item is worth a redstone signal. So at 4 items, 1, 2, 3, 4, like swords, maybe just a non-stackable item. Is it? See, it can't be swords because it's too many signal strengths per sword. It could be something like, I don't know, something that stacks to 16, which actually I think signs are more easily accessible for that. 2 signs doesn't stack. And 4 signs don't send out a stronger signal strength either, which is a problem. Is there anything that stacks to 8? Rename them, that doesn't change anything. Their stack size is the same. What about using a shulker box sorting system to break the warts? It's comparable, but it's only 1 block at a time. I don't know what that means. Is there anything that stacks to 8? No. 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 Rename some of them? You're not understanding. If you were to rename all of your... Signs always provide the same signal strength. It doesn't matter if some of them are renamed or not. Because they are a percentage of a stack, regardless of if they are named or not. If they're named, they're just 8% of that name instead of 8% of a sign, of a generic sign. The important thing is that they're still 8%. So renaming is it. Oh my god, you're just not getting it, man. It does not work that way. 4 signs. Oak sign. I'm gonna... Okay. 1 sign still imparts 1 signal strength. If I add 3 more signs, it is still the same signal strength as before because they are percentages of their own stack. So if we were to rename this sign to the same thing that we did before, it's still part of its stack. So the percentage is the same, even though its name is different. I double checked and it was alright. Part of my item storage was wrong, but I don't know what was causing it. I'm using your skeleton farm. Oh, I didn't see your message, and some of your skeletons are managing to shoot at me. Any idea why that's happening? The timings on top of your trapdoors. This is the only thing that could cause it. So double check these timings are correct. Frame and arrow pointing to compare at redstone. I checked it, it was alright. Nah, the sorting system shouldn't cause your skeletons to be able to shoot at you. Yeah, it's got to be this timing right here. It's just got to be. There's nothing else that could cause the issue. Either that, or you're like unmodded, or I don't know if the skeleton bow draw time changes on Java, changes between Java and Bedrock, but that could also be the issue. I am on Java, it was designed for Java. If you are on vanilla Java and it's not working, then 100% the issue is those that timing on top of it. I don't think there's anything that stacks to 8, is there? No. 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 There's plenty of things that stack to 16. Nothing that stacks to 8 to put inside of a dropper. Yeah, we'll get that fixed. If you after the stream you send me a screenshot, I'm sure I'll have some downtime later tonight. So I mean, I almost want to set up like a binary counter is what I really kind of want to do. And all you need is just 4 digits, right? Some combo of non-stackable and 16 stackable. I guess I'll give it another try, but I might have given up on it too soon. But the problem is each item would need to be representative of 1. So we need some number of swords, some number of signs, and some number of stuff that just stacks to 64 stone. So the problem is I believe a sword counts as 2. Yeah, it does. So that's already out. And 4 signs only counts as 1, so that, okay, yeah, no, there's no way. I mean, unless... Yeah, that's still only 2. Another sword goes to 4. That's still only 4. Another sword goes to 5, which is bizarre. It goes 2, 4, 5. And another sword goes to 7. So each one does have a distinct signal, which I guess we could use. So what I was thinking is effectively I hate that so much that it has a signal strength of 2. I just need to make this one, what, 6? So how do we make a dropper have a signal strength of 6? So that's 5. Okay, there's 6. Yeah, you would have to have 2 systems on this. I know what I'm trying to do, and it's a binary counter, and it's really big and complicated. What's the goal here? On this one, we need 2 locking systems on a hopper-dropper system like this. You need to lock the dropper when the hopper is refilling it, and then you need to lock the hopper while there are still items in the dropper. So this was going to be the system that locks the hopper, and then I needed to lock the hopper in the other direction. But like, it's just, nah, it just doesn't work. So like, realistically, I do think that I see the issue with this, and it's quasi-connectivity, plain as day, breaking the design. And then once you get past the quasi-connectivity issue, it's the block replacement issue. So you could alleviate that a little bit. So the only way that this design is actually stable is if you're only ever harvesting 1 block at a time. That's it. You can't, the tile ability is irrelevant here. Because while you'll have decent rates at the beginning, after every single session of you using this, you'll have to go into the back of it and manually reset all of or manually reset all of your droppers every time. Oh, which means that yeah, it's got a signal. So I mean, it's so goofy, but the answer is to, I mean, I'll just build it. It's not that big of a deal. Girlfriend said she's still not going to be home for a bit, so. Yep, that's the correct spacing for 1 farm worth. Could you add a long timer to autofix? So I still think that there are 2 ways to do this. Yeah, you could probably do a long timer. I don't know how you would build that on, but yeah, you probably could. That's probably still better than what this abomination that I'm building here is, but I'll build them both. Again, girlfriend said she's still stuck in traffic on her way back to her work, so there's no way that she's going to make it home anytime soon. So we do that facing forward. And I'm just basically copying what we had over there. And then we need this piston. And then we need 3 items in here. And 1 guy facing down. Okay. And there's our 3. The first one is ignored. There's number 2. There's number 1. And there's 0. And then it gets reset back to 3. Okay. So then in my mind, what you would do is, and this is absolutely ridiculous. So this is one option, right? And then you need nether wart. I'll go grab that. So we're at 3. The first one is ignored. The second one triggers. The second one triggers. The third one triggers. And then at some point, we have... This is the dumbest thing. Although, if it works, I guess it's not that dumb. Something like that. So this will be our last trigger. And then we need a minecart. So obviously the cart will be parked there all the time. And then on the last trigger... Okay, that's obviously way too quick. So... we need more of a delay. So the first placement gets ignored. Second, third, fourth. And something like that would work. I would go another delay just to be safe, right? And now, if we can imagine, first one gets ignored, second, third, fourth. Ships off the
Remind
player.
yourself that overconfidence
Eldon
is a
Sherfoot with
slow
the tier
and
1 sub.
insidious killer.
You are a slow and insidious killer. Thank you so much for that resub, man. I was going to wait for my Prime sub to be available, but it was taking too long. Oh, well, that's kind words. Thank you. So you can obviously do something like this, and it would then, every time the cart moves, obviously the player is just sitting right here holding AFK. The cart moves, he gets pushed into this position, replaces it, and then moves back. And just sits there until that one's ready again. However, I think that James has a better point. There's another way that you could do this. If you look at the mean time, the average time that it takes for any crop to grow in Minecraft, crops, Minecraft, I don't know if this chart still exists, but it's something like 55 to 65 minutes in order to become a fully grown thing. It's the definition of a bell curve. I have no idea where it's at. I don't know where to find that piece of information. But it's like, it is a bell curve. Yeah, I have no idea where that is. Minecraft crops to reach full size. I don't know. Images, maybe. Or I guess it's not a bell curve. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is it just depends on which perspective you look at. But this is basically it. So you can see here that there is a point where I was thinking about like crop stage growths, but it's fine. It's fine. There's a point at about the 60-minute mark where you're almost guaranteed for a crop to be fully grown. Well, okay. You could just automatically, you could have just this system here, and you know, we would want it 3 wide because that's the space that we have inside of our base. You then hook up and get rid of all of this bloat, and then you put a 60-minute timer on it on these pistons. and then that's it. That's literally all you do, is you just 60-minute timer on these guys, and that's it. And you can see using this chart that they will be completely grown at the 60-minute mark. Now, there's an argument that says that maybe you should have it trigger at the 35-minute mark, because at the 35-minute mark, that's really when most of them will be fully grown. Like 90% of them will be fully grown, and therefore you'll have better rates. The maximum time that a standard hopper clock can do is 4.5 minutes. So right here, and you'll see that there's like 0 chance that they will be at that stage. I don't know what, and this is for, I think it's wheat. It's all the 7-stage crops. I don't know what the average growing time for a netherwort is. Anyone know what the average time is for a netherwort to reach full maturity? The duration of each stage is random with no upper or lower limit, but the average duration is 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Is that per stage? Yes, 3 minutes and 30 seconds per stage, which means 3 minutes 30 seconds in the first stage. So let's call it 4 minutes. 4 minutes in the first stage, 4 minutes in the second stage, 4 minutes in the third stage. That's 12 minutes. So you would set up, say, a 12-minute clock that you know, the player just goes zoom, zoom, left and right, zoom, zoom, left and right, and then you just set up a 12-minute clock to on these pistons. I was actually thinking that you could add a timer to fix the design and flush it back to being not broken. That way, outside of that, you have a good rate. The problem is that still doesn't fix the quasi-connectivity. If you, the player, it doesn't fix the, it would fix the quasi-connectivity. It's a rather brute force way of fixing the quasi-connectivity, but it would still fix it, fair enough. The problem is it still wouldn't fix the player replacing the block at the exact moment that it was destroyed. Whereas just having a 45-minute timer would, or a 20-minute timer, a 15-minute timer, depending on what you were to do. That's what I would do. I would just go 1, 2, 3, and then I'd go like this. Okay, I was just sending girlfriend a message. So then we would have pistons like this, and I think I would just do a timer. It's equally brute force, but I would rather not have to worry about this amalgamation of dirty, disgusting quasi-connectivity, and I would rather just brute force a timer on the average stage. If we look at stuff like sugarcane farms, this sugarcane farm, you can see this, at least I'm consistent. This sugarcane farm is built on that average. You can see very clearly here, I have a 4.5 minute timer, and that's all it is. It's just a 4.5 minute timer double piston extension. So I would just have a 12-minute, I would even probably go a little bit longer, say 15-minute timer, and then just rock it from there. And I used to know how to build these. They're called multipliers. It's just another counting machine. Is yeah, this is the right world. 20-minute timer with a ton of tiles. If we're gonna make a timer, make it 50 blocks. No. We only have 3 blocks to work with inside of the space of our skeleton, grinder. So I don't know. Longtime viewers might recognize this. These were built back when villager harvesting crops were first a thing. So obviously we have our hopper clock, and then over here we have, this is basically a memory latch that controls a multiplier. So this multiplier is set to 60. And this is probably set to, I don't know what that is offhand. Oh, it's probably 1 minute. That's probably a 1 minute clock. So this whole thing is set to be a 60-minute timer. That's probably what this is. I think I found the problem in the Skelly farm. One of the rails that the dog sat and broke, and it allowed the orientation of the cart to change. I don't know if that would cause it. Could you use time extender from the tree farm? Those don't go up to like 12 minutes. Not in any reasonable amount of space. I think the answer is a hopper clock. Because it's really, what you really need to do is you need a 15-minute timer, right? 12 minutes, but you could do 15. So what is that? That's 3 item despawns, in which you would still have to count your item despawns. I don't know. There's another option here that says that you only build this system once, and then you just have it trigger. You have, I don't know how to explain it. You have one of the netherworts act as a master. That would probably be okay. And then you still do a system like this. You only launch at the correct point. What is the space constraint here? Oh, we have garbage on the ground. I don't even care. That's the Nimrod. No, I want those magma blocks. So literally we have 3 wide. And then, but we still do have, we have a solid wall to our right, and then we have redstone to our left. So we have basically 2 blocks of buildable space here. Also, instead of crushing the netherwort, you could have the soul sand get lifted a block. That's true. We could also probably just put that timer underground, now that I think about it. And we just need a lever. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. I think we put in a netherwort farm on a 15-minute timer, which is a, you know, it's this right here. I wonder if there is a way to make this simpler. Long 15-minute timer Minecraft. Because that's really what we need. From 2012. Okay, here's a compact from Ilmango 15-minute clock.
And the one further behind with the birch planks. Even every 30 minutes has in the dropper here. Alright, 13, but we'll have to see game ticks.
Oh,
Pistons
dude,
at the
and
same
it's one
time.
wide. This is perfect.
Until 11 release. Yep. But which shoots item into this chest, which is sucked out by the hopper and retransferred into the dropper. But since we power the dropper every 6 game ticks and a hopper can only transfer items every 8 game ticks, yeah, the dropper kind of wins. So more items are sent into the chest than retransferred into the dropper. So it's just a matter of time until there are no items left in the dropper. And when that happens, this comparator will turn off, activating the sticky pistons and pushing the observer clock away.
Nice. That's smart. This'll work. Okay. And that's way more compact than what we built. Admittedly, like our thing was like 5 years ago. So very clean here. And from my perspective, we would just go like this. I'm gonna move this onto another. Oh God, we're out of time. So I need to do this now. We are out of time, chat room. Girlfriend just told me she's on the way home. So we need, this is a observer facing down into 2 sticky pistons with observers facing in the opposite direction of each other. So that way they're just spam clocking each other. Oh God, I did this backwards. Okay. Slowly gaming. Nims, I PM you. No rush. I will probably have downtime tonight after I'm done with like the hanging out with girlfriend. Dropper into a hopper like this into a chest. The only question is, how many items do we need? The cart getting out of position was definitely the problems. All my timings are correct. Very nice. I had no idea that that could be the problem. I'm sorry I wasn't able to help you better. 1 block of space. We need an observer facing down. A comparator on top, a comparator on top, a comparator like that. And then I just need to know how many items. I don't see any reason why this wouldn't work. And then the player is just moving zoom, zoom, zoom. Right? Player's just zooming back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then how many items are supposed to go into this?
Fall damage. In order
Oh
to
God, I clicked the wrong thing.
Then all the items are in this chest and will be transferred back again.
Yep, I see
Then we
it.
push the observer clock back. Would completely fill this up with 9 stacks of items. Then we push the observer clock back in this position and we restart the cycle. So if you would completely fill this up with 9 stacks of items, it takes exactly 18,404 ticks between 2 signals. You can also easily...
Thanks, Ilmango. I don't know what 18,000 fucking ticks are offhand. And is that game ticks or is that real world ticks? 18,000 divided by 4 is seconds. That's minutes. It's 75 minutes. So it's got to be game ticks. 18,000 divided by 20 is 900 seconds. Is 15 minutes. There are even 2 tick systems, Ilmango. Ugh. Our real world runs on ticks. You knew what I meant. Ugh. So full is gotta be...
Disable this clock by activating this lever here. Powering both pistons, pushing away the observer clock. Alright, every additional item in a dropper adds an additional 32 game ticks or 1.6 seconds. But you can take this one step further. So here we use a 6 game tick lock. but the hopper would transfer the items back in 8 ticks. If you would use a 7 game tick clock, it would be even slower. And that's what we're doing over here. So
Okay, so we just fill the dropper all the way up with any item. It doesn't matter what. Okay, and we have now quasi-connectivity powered this piston. So how do we not do that? We know that this will be legal in the future, but it's not legal yet. And it's for what? A full cycle? So, what? The torch... it needs to be into a torch is what it needs to be. So this whole thing needs to be back a block. Chat room, I hope you really appreciate what I'm doing right now. Girlfriend's gonna be so mad at me whenever she gets home. Why are you like quasi-connectivity? Ah, because of this. That makes sense. Now, we're going to help this along and see what happens. I freaking missed it. Okay, we're going to help it along again. Oh, it just needs to fill this up. Okay. Okay, so that didn't trigger it again. And now it's emptying. And it will be emptying ever so slightly slower than it's getting added to. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then that's good. And then we put this all back in. (13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1). Whenever the pistons in the back move, we don't want to see anything in the front happen. Boom, we got it. There's our design. That's what we're going to be making. That is a nether wart farm. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. That's what we're going to be making in the world. We're going to move the fishing farm. We're then going to make the nether wart farm where the fishing farm is, and then we'll just put like a nano farm on the opposite side. So that's it. That's what I'm going to do. Repo, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to respond to your message later. I have to run. You guys are fan-freaking-tastic. I will be back same time, same place tomorrow. We'll see you later.